What does King Kong, Neo from the Matrix, and the Geico Gecko have to do with why you're still single? It almost sounds like the beginning of a bad joke, right? Well, in a way, it kind of is a bad joke. The joke is, while we say we want one thing, in this case, a lasting love relationship, our minds are busy manifesting something else. Specifically, it's manifesting what we don't want. But why? Now, have you ever heard of the triune brain theory? In short, some very smart people who study these types of things determine that our brains are actually three brains in one. And these three brains were like molded together over millions of years of evolution to form what we know today as the human brain. And just so you know, I'll purposely minimize using too many $100 words to explain this scientific concept. So if you're insatiable about knowledge like me and want to learn more about the triune brain, then Google is right over there. Now, the first and oldest brain is the reptilian complex, or the lizard brain. And its primary function is survival of the human. So that's where we get our most primal drives to dominate, fight, and run. And apparently save 50% on car insurance. But this brain gets triggered a lot in intimate relationships, as you may have experienced. The second oldest brain is the paleo-mammalian complex, or simply put, the mammalian brain. Mammals, you know? And this brain is focused on feeding, fucking, and family. Hey, wait, that sounds like me. That's funny. Anyway, the best place to see this in action is to watch documentaries about apes, or go on Facebook. You'll see it. And the most recent brain to develop is the neo-mammalian complex, or higher human brain. And this brain is focused on language, conceptual thinking, and our perception, i.e. the Matrix. In fact, the character Neo was named that because of this purpose of the neocortex. In the movie, Neo even worked for a fictional software company called Metacortex, just in case you didn't catch the metaphor the first time, right? Slick, huh? Anyway, what does all this have to do with why you're still single? Well, those three brains are active 24/7, 365, whether we like it or not. So if we're not careful with what we put in our minds, they will produce outcomes that we don't desire. So let's start with Mr. Gecko, our lizard brain. How is our lizard brain keeping us single? All right, primarily, it's our lizard brain's focus on pain and fear of more pain that's keeping us single. So that's where our childhood baggage comes in. Have you ever been betrayed or cheated on by your mate? That too. Concerned about being vulnerable and getting hurt again? Yep. Don't trust men because they've lied to you before? Yes, ma'am. Scared of losing love after you finally find it? See, all these disempowering thoughts are coming from our lizard brain. And the fastest and easiest way to counteract the lizard is, one, just exercise forgiveness for the past. Forgive your parents, forgive your ex, forgive yourself, forgive the rest of the world. And by the way, this is an important point. Forgiveness is not about letting the perpetrator off the hook. We forgive to free ourselves from the pain, agony, and mind control that the emotional trauma caused us. So even if you're not feeling all spiritual today, do it for your ego. And another fast way to beat the lizard is to extract valuable lessons from past pain. If you create an empowering meaning for the pain that you've already gone through, that's the closest thing to time travel and alchemy us humans can expect to experience. Give each failed relationship from your past a meaning and a moral, then live your life accordingly. The key to creating meaning is to make it empowering. In fact, think of the word expansion. If the meaning that you give your past pain makes you bigger, then go with it. If the meaning you come up with makes you feel contracted or squeezed, then that's not the right reason. Example, a woman who was badly hurt by her cheating husband who lied to her for years. The marriage was over and she was single and looking to date again. She had a choice of two meanings for that failed marriage. don't trust men because they lie, was the first one. And this is the easy, fast food way to think. Now, the second meaning was develop deeper intimacy and truth in your relationships. You tell me which meaning serves to expand and grow you into a bigger person, and which shrinks you into a small, bitter person. Same situation, much different life outcomes. Okay, let's talk about Neo now. I'll come back to Kong. Neo is keeping us single because that's where we come up with the insane idea that there's something wrong, unethical, or unacceptable about our true desires. This in turn creates internal confusion and conflict. In fact, it's literally the matrix that we live in that gave us that absurd idea. As long as your desires don't infringe on the human rights of others, they are divine and should be expressed as often as possible until they're realized. So yeah, Miss Independent, I'm talking to you. It's okay to admit that you want a man of means to provide for you or afford you a better lifestyle. It's okay to pass on that promotion at work and have more babies. It's okay to admit that you actually want a man. And yeah, it's okay, Miss Morals, I see you in the back, to admit that you want a passionate man who's an excellent lover. Yeah, of course character matters, and so does orgasms. You see, when we don't admit our true desires to ourselves, we end up living in our shadow. Then we go around and complain every time we see the very thing we truly desire in the world and wag our finger at it. Bad, bad, wrong, wrong. Meanwhile, no matter how successful we become, there's always this nagging feeling of dissatisfaction and restlessness. And from there, we're only a step or two away from picking up an addiction to a bad habit, just to deal with the unease. So to defeat Neo, or more appropriately, get him back on team love, our team love, we must have crystal clear clarity of what we truly desire. Write it in your journal. Share it with friends. Share it with the world. Damn the haters and judges, they're just mad because they don't have the courage to do what they see you doing. So say what you want without shame or guilt, and then think about it all the time. Now we're cooking with grease. Lastly, we'll talk about King Kong, who represents the mammalian brain. See, even after we get our lizard brain away from focusing on pain and fear and onto pleasure, then we get our higher human neocortex crystal clear instead of confused. We still have one problem. Our mammalian brain tells us we don't deserve what we want. We're not worthy. Apparently other people are worthy, just not us. Again, this is complete bullshit. Another killer belief brought to you by Madison Avenue and all the advertisements you've seen in your lifetime that were designed to make you feel less than so you can fill your emotional void with their product. No. Just know, you are worthy. You are divine. I don't care if you're 50 pounds overweight, have skin problems and small boobs. You deserve love. Specifically, you deserve the love you desire, as well as anything else in the world. So tell Kong he's got it wrong, and we're all deserving of what we want. And if you're still not believing you deserve your desires, then you only have two choices. One is die a miserable death from an unfulfilled life. Or two is just step your game up. Be better, do better, have better. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to do your best. It's the fourth agreement. Shout out to Don Miguel Ruiz. So that's it, right? Easy enough. Except before you can even finish reading or listening to this, you probably already had a negative thought or two pop in your head. And if you get on the internet or Facebook, you'll have a few more. Just don't watch the news. That's a complete cesspool of negative juju just waiting for you. So to counteract that, we have to go on an information diet. Skip the news completely. Minimize the gossip sites. Trashy TV gets reduced too. Then you replace all that with consuming nutritious, life-affirming content daily. Duh, like this blog. Make the conscious effort to create your own love media and set yourself up for automatic success.